Inspired by sound.
Hello, welcome to a blind man's look at Ableton Move. I'm so excited to tell you about this product. Honestly, I've been wanting to shout about it for a very, very long time, and I haven't been able to. I've not been allowed to. So, first things first, this is not what a sighted person would be coming for. This is a screen reader overview of Ableton Move. If you want a proper look, there's probably lots of other YouTubers out there doing exactly this, but with better camera angles and what have you. If you've come for the looks, you're in the wrong place. You should be here for the audio and the sounds, and what I'm about to tell you is kind of deep. If by the end of this video you're blind and you plan to buy this thing, put "Let's Move" in the comments below. Let's get straight into it. I ain't got time to faff. The length of this unit is, if you think about it in terms of F sharp, let's say the unit starts at an F sharp, pick your F sharp of choice, it doesn't matter. It goes up to the E flat, 2 E flats above, all right? So let's say it goes F sharp, B flat, sorry, I can't even count. F sharp, A flat, B flat, C sharp, E flat, F sharp, A flat, B flat again, C sharp, E flat. And it literally is about that length. So it's very small, it's very light, it's very travelable. So the first thing I'm going to do is tell you about the button orders and what have you. And I have a file that I will be putting the text of in the video description as well, so that you have a reference. And that will give you all the keys in a way that you can refer back to if/when, I suppose, when you end up buying this unit. So let's start with bottom left, which is the play button. And if you press it again, it stops. If you hold the shift key down on the right side and hold and press the play button, it will actually repeat. Next to play, you have record. Above that is a big gap, and on the left side you have the back button, which when you hold it, if you're deep in menus, will come right out. And to the right of that, there is the button that switches between the note mode and the session mode. We'll be talking about all this, of course, later on. To the right of that, there are 4 track buttons, 1, 2, 3, and 4 top down. And the first track, when you load a set, is always going to be drums. The others, well, you can look at the Move manual for more information, but yeah, that's what we start with. Then we have 32 pads. 32 pads. Glorious pads, by the way, and they're polyphonic as well. Very nice. Pad 1, bottom left, pad 32, top right. And if you stick around at the end of this video, I will fade you out with all 32 of my sets on Move. This, by the way, is set number 32. So whatever we make today in this video, and I don't even know yet, that's the whole point, will be the last thing you hear. And then the video will disappear into the ether. And then you will put your hand in your pocket and buy this thing. All right, let's move on to the right-hand side. And I have a sort of mnemonic for helping me remember these buttons. Okay, so we start with capture/reset capture, and that's next to pad 32. Then we have sampling next to that. Underneath that, we have clip/loop, then mute underneath that, delete, and then copy. And on the last row, we have undo/redo, and then shift. Along the bottom row, underneath all the pads, there's a row of 16 steps, because you can actually step record into this instead of live playing as well, if you wish. And we have from left to right, number 1, set overview, 2, which is a whole bunch of stuff. It's like internal stuff, battery, Wi-Fi, update, that kind of business. 3, workflow settings, quantize, step grid, count in, and so on. 4 does nothing. 5 is tempo, which you turn with the big wheel, and the big wheel, by the way, is to the left of, I haven't got to the knobs yet, but it will, is to the left of essentially the track 1 button. 6 is metronome on off. 7 is the groove amount. 8 is 16 pitches on off, which we'll talk about. 9 is key and scale change. 10 is velocity on off, for velocity on off. 11 is note repeat/ARP. 15, we could go all the way to the end nearly, is the double loop option, and 16 is quantize. To the right of that, there are 4 buttons in a sort of up, down, left, right configuration. And the top buttons and bottom button take your octave up and down, and left and right move you into the next bar for your step record. This can also help you nudge notes. Right, so how do we access this thing as a blind person? Well, in a browser, you're going to go to move, M-O-V-E, .local, L-O-C-A-L, /screen-reader. Now, this is at the time of recording. This may or may not change. I don't know. I don't set the rules, but that's what it has been in all the time I've been testing this unit. So at the time of recording, that's how we access it. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how you do that. When you get there, you'll be presented with a PIN, and you have to enter a 4-digit PIN, which you can read with something like Seeing AI, Envision AI, Be My AI, that kind of thing. And once you do that, you'll be in. This, by the way, also assumes that you have added your Wi-Fi in, which of course will not be screen reader friendly at this time. That may change in the future, of course, but I'm only going on the information I have right now. Don't be put off by that, though. If you can get Sighted Assist to do that part, you won't need it again beyond that. Okay, so there we go. Let's make some more noise.
Snare button soft.
Let's talk about the wheels and buttons on the unit. So at the very top left of the unit is a little display. I don't know how many lines or characters it's capable of. I cannot see it. Doesn't bother me. Underneath which is the wheel. Some companies call it a dial or a jog dial or something. This is a wheel on Ableton Move. To the right of the screen are 8 knobs, followed by a gap with a microphone hole in the middle, and then a final knob, which is slightly bigger than the others, which is volume. On the back, from left to right, we have a USB-C I/O, which is for charging, and you can connect it to your computer for controlling live and such like. Next is a USB-A port, which you can plug in external MIDI devices. Finally, on the back is a line input / mic input, and then a headphone / line output. I believe it's line out. I've used it for line for a while anyway. And then the power button. And that's the whole of Move. There are, oh by the way, 2 internal speakers, which are grills on the front under edge of the unit. Now, I don't know how much different this pre-production unit looks compared to the main unit, but I shouldn't think it's that much different. So if your unit that you're buying and your Sighted looks a little different than what's in front of me, don't worry about that too much. Right, shall we make a beat? I think we should. So assume that I've gotten into the sets, and I'll show you how to do that a bit later and everything. And we're going to make something happen. I've got this drum kit up here.
Starter kit.
Okay, so what I can do is I've got 3 different ways of recording. I could step record by holding a step along the bottom edge, the 1 to 16 steps, and playing a pad and recording in this way, like an old-fashioned sequencer. I can do the play and then press the capture button, just like Ableton Note, if you're familiar with Ableton Note at all, or if you've ever used that, which is an iOS-based app. This is kind of like Note, but with half the tracks. And don't for a minute think that that is a limitation. I certainly don't see it as such. I see this as something that really enables me to do things I would not normally do in ways that I would not normally do them. And if you think back to the days of old when everybody made things on a 4-track cassette recorder or reel-to-reel tape machine, they did some of the best, most innovative music they could do. So you might have all your big fat DAWs and what have you with your 163 track count. Nope, 4 tracks here, and I love it. The limitation actually allows me to do things I would never have done anywhere else. So we're going to make a beat. So what I'd like to do first is to just clear the capture, so I can do Shift and the clear capture key.
Under pad captured 83.5 BPM. Minute rate 1 of 3.
Apparently I didn't do that correctly, so let's delete that. That's a perfect excuse. And by the way, I don't edit my videos, so anyone who knows this channel knows that I just basically hit the camera and record, and then we go for a take, right? I don't come back and edit out mistakes, because it makes me more human. So whatever just screw up that happened, that's okay. That stays in. Let me undo this recorded clip.
Undo new clip captured.
Undo new clip captured. Right, so
Snare button soft.
let's try actually making a something. We've got a kit, and I'm going to show you how to change all that later anyway. But let's make something with the current kit we've got in focus. We can always adjust the sounds later on. All right, I'll press the capture button now.
Captured 112 BPM. Minute rate on 3 of 3.
Notice it automatically looped it. It also put it in time. It told me the tempo, and that is good. By the way, what I'm using right here is VoiceOver on a Mac in Safari, And if you have voiceover sounds enabled, it would be advisable that you set a voiceover activity to turn off the sounds, because if you don't, every single thing that Move sends to your browser is triggered like some kind of live region, and voiceover goes off, and it's very annoying. So the first thing I want to do is just quantize this. So I can do Shift button 16.
Clip 100% quantized.
And it's quantized now 100%.
It had closed domain.
So let's say that we don't like the snare, for example. We can change that. Let's look at how the screen is laid out when you turn the big wheel. It starts on what I would say is a parameter option 2 or page 2. I'm not sure how the main nomenclature goes, but when you're on a drum kit anyway, there are usually, I think always actually, 4 pages of options. And each page you press the jog wheel into to change it. So if I turn it all the way to the left,
Stratakit.
we get the name of the kit, Stratakit. If I turn it once to the right,
Hi-hat closed domain.
hi-hat closed domain. If I turn it once to the right,
Reverb send.
reverb send, which is a send per pad level, by the way. And the final effect
Saturator.
is the saturator, which is global to the kit. All right. So you get 2 effects. One is usually going to be a reverb, which is pad specific, the level of which anyway, you can't have a different reverb per pad. And then the final effect is global to the kit, and that will affect everything equally. So let's go back to,
Hi-hat closed domain.
that's the hi-hat. And if I tap the snare, there we go.
Snare butter soft.
And that's snare butter soft. If I now press the wheel in,
Snare boo soft. Menu item 25 of 137.
then we have 25 of 137 different snares. And if I play the piece and then turn the dial, we can just pick a snare we like.
Snare C78. Menu item 20. Snare car. Menu item 20. Snare cannon. Menu item 28. Snare Z or A. Menu item snare CH. Red. Snare CH. Eichel. Menu item 31 of 100. Snare clap. No. Menu item snare clap. Off. Menu item 33 of 137.
All right, we're going to use this snare, but we're going to take it down and modify it. So let me hold the back key to come back to the main
Snare
screen.
clap days off.
All right. Now let's tap across the 8 knobs. If you're used to something like complete control, where when you use the 8 knobs and you tap them, they respond, these are capacitive in the same way, and so is the jog wheel. Sorry, not jog wheel, the wheel. And every time you tap a control, the screen reader should read out what it is. There are some exceptions. We have to talk about those too. So let's tap across knob 1.
Transpose 0 street.
Is the transposition. 2 does not speak, but it's actually sample start. I know that.
Snare attack 0.10 ms.
Attack.
Hold 1.00 ms.
Hold.
Decay 23.0 s.
Decay.
Playback effect stretch.
Playback effect stretch.
Stretch factor 1.00.
Stretch factor.
Grain size 100 ms.
And grain size. So that's the snare.
Playback effect stretch. Decay 23.0 s.
Why don't we take this decay down?
Decay 300. Decay 266 ms.
So now it's a short decay. Let's play the track with a short decay. That's nice and short, isn't it? So when you tap a pad, by the way, of course, it's context aware. So when I move over to the next
Reverb send.
reverb send, in this case, the next effect, that is focused on the snare. So if I look at knob number 8, which is always going to be the send,
High shelf. Reverb pad 3 INFDB.
INFDB.
Reverb pad 3 minus 24 dB.
So now we have a reverb pad at
send.
minus 24 dB. By the way, if when I stop touching a control, you hear it announce what it was currently focused on before, that is because the screen goes back to the last thing, if that makes sense. So the control that you touch doesn't stay on screen the entire time. So now we have a piece. There we go. That's quite nice. So if you're wondering, for example, how you pan this snare over to the side, or maybe we can move the hi-hat over, I'll show you that as well. So I'll tap the hi-hat, which is that.
Hi-hat closed domain.
I turn the wheel back to the middle, to the second option. And if I hold shift and press the wheel in,
Main bank.
then we switch to something called main bank. And if I now look at the controls along the top,
Transpose 0 street. Playback effects stretch. Grain size 100 ms.
let me turn it
Main
to the
bank.
right, actually.
Filter and setup.
Okay, filter and setup. So there's main bank. When you do a shift and jog wheel, it brings up a sort of little menu, and we need to be in the second option, which is filter and setup. So now I'm in the second section. I
Filter
can
frequency 22.0
tap
kilohertz.
along this.
Filter resonance. Filter type low pass. Envelope mode gate. Choke on. Velocity greater. Velocity greater. Filter 0. Pan 7 right.
Pan 7 right.
Filter and setup. Pan 7 right.
So while holding the control, I can turn it to the right,
Pan 50 right.
all the way to the left.
Pan 46 right. Pan 50 left.
And so that's your channel check for the day. If your headphones or speakers are correctly configured, you'll now know about it. Let's play the piece and turn the control while playing.
Pan 26 right. Pan 12 right. Filter and set
Right, so it's slightly moved over now, and that's nice. We can hit the back key,
Hi-hat close domain.
and we're back to the hi-hat closed domain.
Stretch factor 1. Grain size 100 ms.
And the controls have returned to
Hi-hat close
their
domain.
the controls have returned to their previous setting. I must always remember not to speak for about a second after I stop touching a control. Here's an example. Tap this control here.
Transpose 0 street.
Wait,
Hi-hat close domain.
and it does that. I'm used to not talking because, of course, I haven't been able to until now. So I have to think about this and talk between things. All right, so that was track 1. We've done our drums. Let's switch to track 2 bass.
Tubular bass.
So by just pressing track 2, which is down the left-hand side, these 4 oval buttons, I'm now on the bass sound. And these pans are extremely responsive. They're also very nice to play. They feel quite equal in use, even though mine is like a pre-production model. They were just built extremely well, and I love them. Now, I will show you, for example, how we change to another bass, making sure that the wheel is on the firstmost parameter, because the firstmost parameter is always going to be your sound choice, all right? The next one is going to be one of 2 effects. Each sound, you can have up to 2 effects. So let's click into this bass. I do like this one, so I'll probably come back to it, but I'll just show you the kind of options we can have in the bass category.
Tubular bass. Menu item 56 of 57. Upright bass. Menu item 57 of 57.
Let's go back
Tubular
to this.
bass. Menu item 56 of
Let's
57.
go back a bit further.
Throat bass. Menu item 55 of 57. Thick bass. Menu item 54 of 57. Synth pop bass. Menu item 53 of 57.
Right, tell you, why don't you use this? We can also modify its sound later, so let's back out.
Synth pop bass.
Also, do we want to change the key and the scale? Because currently it's F minor, right? Yeah, maybe we do. So I have to remember, and I basically just hold shift and press the button until I reach it. I know it's about 9 or 10. And the thing is, I've been using this for a long time. You'd think I'd know by now. But because there are no easy to discern markings for screen reader users above or below the 16 steps, sometimes I'll hit the wrong one instantly.
In key. Menu item 1 of 3.
Not this time though. Yay. Right, so we have a choice. We're in the new menu now, in key, and if I click this,
Chromatic. Menu
it's
item
now
1 of 3.
chromatic.
Chromatic. Menu
This
item
is
1 of
much
3.
harder to play, by the way, because you get less keys, you get less octaves. So we put it back
In key.
in
Menu
key.
item 1 of 3.
Turn it to the right.
F submenu 2 of 3.
F is the key. Let's put it in.
F menu item 6 of 12. F music shop sign / G music flat sign. G menu item 8 of 12. G music shop sign / A music flat sign.
Let's play
Menu item
something
9
in
of
A
12.
flat. Then we have a bunch of scales. When I back out of this menu,
G music shop sign / A
Turn it
music
to the
flat
right.
sign. Sub minor. Sub menu 3
then
of
we
3.
have option of minor. And we go in here,
Minor. Menu item 2 of 35.
35 different options in here. There's a lot.
Dorian. Menu item 3 of 35. Mixolydian. Menu item 4 of 35. Lydian. Menu item 5 of 35.
So we'll just go with a minor, I think.
Mix Dorian. Menu item minor. Menu item 2 of
There we go.
35.
It's simple and easy. And so let's add our bass line.
Synth pop bass.
All right, so we'll hit record. Because last time I used the capture option, this time I'm actually going to press record, and I will play something. I don't know what I'm going to play yet. And if I press record stop there, now it's stopped, and it automatically knows, well, that's the amount of bars we want, so I can quantize this, hopefully.
Clip
and
100%
play it,
quantized.
and it should be okay.
Synth pop bass.
So imagine I didn't really like that clip. I can go and press the delete clip key, which is above the undo key, or I can undo the recording as well. But just say I want to delete it.
Clip deleted.
Clip deleted. So now I could re-record a better bass. This time, though,
Synth pop bass.
I will press play and then play along with it in play mode. And then if I like it, I'll press capture. A totally different way of recording, but similar to the first. The first time, though, I played while the metronome wasn't even running. This time, I'm going to press play and then play something and see what happens.
New clip captured.
Quantize.
Clip 100% quantized. Synth pop bass.
All right. What parameters do we have on the knobs at this point?
Low pass filter 136 Hz. Low pass reso 0.09. OSC1 high pass 45.4 Hz. Shape 0.58. Sustain 70%. Release 792 ms. Filter decay 443 ms. Thick 38%.
Thick 38%. It's quite a nice parameter there. If I play the track and turn up any of these parameters, I'm just going to let VoiceOver do the talking and start turning knobs and see if we like the sound at the end of it. Ready? Ah, let's disable the metronome as well.
Metronome off.
That's Shift and button 6.
Synth pop bass. Thick 38%. Thick 100%. Thick 0.0%. Thick 78%. Thick low pass filter 136 Hz. Low pass filter 1.63. Low pass reso 0. Low pass reso 0.42. Low pass reso. Low pass filter 52.7. Low pass filter 50.0 Hz. Low pass filter 2. Low pass reso 0. Sustain 70%. Sustain 50. Sustain 35%. Sustain 13%. Release 700. Release 100. Release 282. Release 431 ms. Shape 0.58. Shape 1.00. Shape 0. OS. Low pass OSC1. Low pass filter 2. Low pass filter 738 Hz. Synth pop bass. Sustain 13%. Release 400. Release 500. Release 50. Release 100. Release 600. Release filter decay 443 ms. Filter decay 18.1 s. Filter decay 4. Thick 98%. Synth pop bass.
That's a very different sound, isn't it? Look. Let's say I don't like any of that. I could just reload the sound originally by turning the bass, the wheel to the left and then double clicking.
Synth pop bass. Synth pop bass.
Currently not. Let me go in and turn it to the right and then back to the left.
Synth pop bass. Thick bass. Synth pop bass. Menu item 53 of 57.
There we go.
Synth pop bass.
It's back now. So we've got our 2 tracks. Very nice. So basically we've recorded 2 things and we could record another 2 things. But why don't we add a sample?
Read synth.
And it'll be using the internal mic. So all I do is go to a track I want to record on, press the sample button here, and then I'm just going to say, let's move, in a really stupid voice. All right. So I press the sample button, which is under the volume key, and then I hold a pad down. In this case, I'll hold pad 1, and then I'll say, let's move. Let's move.
Read synth sampler.
All right. Let's move. There we go. We have a very silly me saying, let's move. But now we could play with effects. So if I turn this dial
set 4 at 1
to the right,
delay, reverb,
go to the end effect, and if I turn the last control up,
dry slash wet 42%, reverb,
great big reverb. Of course, this is all customizable. There are presets for all of these things, right? So you're basically on the top level. You can drill down into any of these things, and there are quite a few effects on Move that carry over from Note as well. And I should add that you can actually upload these sets that you make on your Ableton Move to Ableton Note. But if you're an Android user and have never used Ableton Note, well, you're missing out. But now you can buy this unit, so you're not missing out. It's a joy, isn't it? So I love this thing. Let's move.
Dry slash wet decay time 12.5s.
So let's see what effects, what parameters do we have on this reverb. Let's see knob 1.
Decay time 300 transpose 8 street, transpose 3 street, sampler.
It's gone back. You know what I did? I leant on the track 4 button, so it reset the wheel to the first parameters page of parameters instead of the last one. So I need to
set 4 at 1.
Turn it back.
Delay. Reverb.
There we go. I also need to undo.
Undo transpose adjusted. Undo decay time adjusted.
Redo.
Redo decay time adjusted.
Let's move. Okay, so the transposition is back where it was.
Reverb. Decay time 306. Decay time 910. Decay time 1. Decay time 2.18s. Reverb.
Let's move. There we go.
Room size 442.76.
Room size?
Room size 500.00. Room size 500. Room size 0. Reverb.
Yes, you can do that with it. So if we set the decay to absolutely massive and then adjust the room size, you can have the usual fun with effects that you can have with the reverb.
Decay
Ready?
time 2. Decay time 40. Reverb. Room size 0.56. Room size 500.00. Room size 0.22. Room size 0.2. Decay time 4.5.
Don't tell me you don't like doing that, because I will not believe you. Right, so those are the kind of parameters we can actually adjust. And there are presets as well. If I click into this reverb, for example, we can change
back 1 of 19
to an actual preset. Let's move. Turn the dial.
Arena tail. Menu item 2 of 19. Default reverb. Menu item 3 of 19.
Let's move.
Hall damped. Menu item 4 of 19. Hall large. Menu item 5 of 19. Hall shine. Menu item 6 of 19.
Let's leave it right there. Let's move. Let's notice when I press the key, there's a bit of a click.
Reverb.
So why don't we cut into the sample a bit?
Delay. Set 4 at 1.
I'm turning back to the main samples pages now, and if I tap along these controls,
Transpose 4 street.
if I turn knob number 2 while pressing the pad, move. I sound like an idiot. But anyway, we now just have move, and I could then
New clip captured. Clip 100% quantized.
and it's still a bit laggy, so let me turn it while the track is
Set 4 at
playing
1.
so that move doesn't kind of take ages to play back.
Transpose 4 street. Set 4 at 1.
Let's go over to some delay and add some delay.
Delay.
There we go.
Dry slash wet 0. Dry slash wet 30. Dry slash wet 45%. Delay.
I know there's a ping pong delay in here. I want that one. Let's click into this
Back 1 of 60.
list of effects.
16 clean. Menu 16 dub. Menu item 16 ping pong. Menu item 4 of 16. Dry slash wet 33%. 6 time 1 slash 16. Time 3 slash 16. 16 ping pong. Dry slash wet 31%. 16 ping pong.
There we go. Utter stupidity for your day.
Feedback 58%.
Let's turn the feedback down.
Feedback 40%. Feedback 30%. Feedback 22%. 16 ping pong. Menu item 4 of 16. Delay.
I'm just going to leave that right there. Yeah, there's a lot more you can do with this. Now, this is not going to be an exhaustive walkthrough by any means. I just wanted to sort of show you the bare bones, and I really have shown you the bare bones. There's a lot more to discover, but I think you'd probably rather play with it yourself. If you do have questions in the comments, I can always do a follow-up video at a later stage. But you know what? I think just to show you the bare outlines, this is possibly enough. If you want more, let me know. Now, as promised, I'm going to go into the set overview by doing Shift button 1, and I'm going to play you a little bit, or maybe a few bars of each of my sets that I've created exclusively on Move, right? And I have not used a MIDI keyboard for any of what you're going to hear. I haven't plugged, I could have done, but I haven't done that. So let me go into Shift 1.
Set overview.
And this time I'm going to mute voiceover, in fact.
Speech muted.
And I'm just going to hit play, and I'll press the first button. Actually, no, I won't mute voiceover.
Speech unmuted.
You can hear the names of the tracks as they pass under the keyboard. All right, so let's start here. If you've come this far, thank you so much for listening to my Let's Move accessibility demo. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're sighted, I'm sorry that the camera is not brilliant here, but I am blind myself and I do this from entirely a non-visual perspective. But if you're going to be buying one of these, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. And as I say, if you've got any more questions, I'll try to cover them later on. Let's start with set number 1. This.
DNB mover. Rambunctious Argo. Relax wrap. Release me. Digital synth spoons. Just jumped up. The broken time machine. Max Raven. Outside the boundary. Too Hot Tuesday. Shake it till you shake it. Doom in the room. Bubble tea time. Until 4 a.m.
Until 4 a.m. Until 4 a.m.
Where, what and why? Slowly going nowhere. Sample madness. Lonely rap groove. Trapped in the funk. "808 Reggae." Broken witness. A very hot day. Chill rap. Down and dangerous. Sit and chill. Liquid souls. Tailor-made. Boop boop. Confirmation code.